There was a time when the front door stayed unlocked, the family doctor knew you by name, and a single coin could buy you a bag full of candy. That was America in the 1950s, a period of profound trust and quiet strength hidden beneath a layer of everyday simplicity. What was life truly like in that golden age? Let's journey back and uncover the memories that defined a generation. Consider the American dream, starting with a home. The typical house cost roughly $7,400. This wasn't a tiny structure. It was a place with a generous yard where children played with their red wagons. Inside, gleaming hardwood floors demanded regular care to keep their luster. But the real value wasn't in the property. It was in the community. Neighbors weren't just faces. They were friends who watched out for one another. A livable income was the standard. The median yearly wage hovered near $3,200. This allowed a family to purchase a home, support their children, and even afford an annual holiday. Most households had a single automobile, one television set, and one bathroom, and remarkably, that felt sufficient. Financial peace didn't come from immense wealth, but from manageable expenses and a stable post-war economy. At the pump, fuel was just 29 cents a gallon in 1955. This affordability created a sense of liberation for motorists. A $5 bill could fill your tank completely. You didn't anxiously watch the numbers climb. And with the change, you could still buy a refreshing Coke and some gum. Inexpensive gas encouraged exploration on roads that were still largely local. Service was a given. You never pumped your own fuel. A polite, uniformed attendant would come out, fill your tank, clean your windshield until it sparkled, and address you respectfully. This was a standard of care, a culture where helping others was common courtesy. For daily errands, you went to the corner store. If your mother needed milk, she'd send you to the local grocer. You'd hand over $1 and come back with a loaf of bread, a bottle of milk, and coins in your pocket. It felt like a significant mission. These small shops were community hearts. They weren't massive supermarkets. They were social spots where the staff knew your name, your siblings, and would ask about your life. It was a personal, familiar experience that reinforced a feeling of belonging. The 1955 Chevrolet Bel Air was a rolling icon. With its striking two-color finish, brilliant chrome details, and powerful V8 motor, this car seemed to be in motion even when parked. Owning one was a mark of achievement, a symbol of making it. It represented a new era of automotive power and style. Entertainment was simple and affordable. Cinema ticket cost about 48 cents. For that, you got a comfortable seat, popcorn, and sometimes a cartoon before the movie. You didn't need to book ahead. You just went, and the experience was almost always worth it. The TV dinner arrived in 1953, revolutionizing mealtime. It came in a sleek aluminum tray for 98 cents. It offered a full meal with absolutely no cleanup. Families adored this convenience after a long day. No one labeled it processed. It was just easy and fun, especially while watching the new black and white television. Then there was the legendary Jell-O mold at family gatherings. This shimmering dessert, made from gelatin and often mixed with unexpected ingredients like cottage cheese or shredded carrots, had a unique texture. Did anyone truly love it? It's probably not. But everyone ate a little out of tradition. So the point wasn't the flavor. It was the ritual of being together. If you fell ill, the doctor came to you. You'd call your family physician, and he would arrive with his black bag. He'd examine you right in your living room. This memory represents a level of personal attention and trust that's hard to find today, making you feel cared for just by his presence. Houses were often left unlocked, not because crime was non-existent, but because a fundamental trust existed within the community. If someone knocked, you let them in. If they didn't, it was likely a relative returning something they'd borrowed. When you went on vacation, you'd leave your key with the neighbor. No security systems were needed, just mutual trust, and maybe a homemade pie waiting for you when you returned. This trust was the bedrock of daily life. Television antennas were a common sight on rooftops. The family would send someone up with a wrench to adjust it just right. One small turn the wrong way, and the screen dissolved into static. But if you got it perfect, you had a clear picture of I Love Lucy. Mr. Potato Head debuted in 1952 as the first toy advertised on television. The forgotten part? You didn't get a plastic potato? You had to provide a real one from your kitchen to stick the plastic parts into. This highlights the simple, creative play of the era. Try handing a child a raw potato today and telling them it's a toy. A brand new Ford F-100 truck costs under $1,500. This was a sturdy work vehicle. It had no touch screens or Bluetooth, just solid steel, a basic AM radio, and a bench seat big enough for 3 adults. If it broke, you fixed it yourself, a respected skill. The initial price was genuinely accessible. Car interiors were basic, steel and vinyl. There were no cup holders, no airbags, and no electronics besides the radio. If you parked in the summer sun, the steering wheel became scorching hot. Everything was built to be durable and easy to repair, not for luxury or safety. Car keys were often optional. Some vehicles didn't even have door locks. You'd park, slip the key under the visor, and nobody would touch it. Today, we need passwords for our microwaves. But back then, trust was the ultimate security system. This shows a dramatic shift in our societal mindset. Televisions had small screens, often no larger than a plate. They were heavy, low resolution, and usually showed only black and white. Yet the TV was the focal point of family entertainment, bringing everyone together in the living room. The television was a piece of furniture. These were substantial wooden cabinets with legs and a fabric speaker cover. When it broke, your father didn't replace it, called a repairman who arrived with his toolbox. This contrasts sharply with today's lightweight, disposable flat screens. There were no remote controls. To change the channel on the rotary dial, you had to get up and do it manually. And typically your father would assign the task to whoever was sitting closest. Was that you? Were you the designated channel changer? What's your most vivid childhood memory? Share it with us. The iconic red radio flyer wagon was every child's dream. It hauled toys, pets, groceries, and even younger siblings. When it rained, you flipped it over and it became a pirate ship or a secret fort. The only upgrade required was imagination, which was an endless resource. Children rode bicycles without helmets or pads. Just scraped knees and streamers on the handlebars. If you fell, you limped home, and your mother would apply iodine, which stung like a miracle cure. And somehow, you grew up tougher, learning lessons about resilience. Bar soap was the standard in every bathroom. Brands like Irish Spring and Dial were common. Every bathroom had a washcloth and a drawer full of tiny, melted-together soap slivers waiting to be used up. Disneyland opened in California in 1955. Walt Disney himself walked the park on opening day. It had only 18 attractions, but was instantly called the happiest place on Earth. Despite a plumber's strike and soft asphalt, it was a historic event, a symbol of American optimism. Sunday dinner was a non-negotiable ritual. The entire family gathered: grandparents, cousins, and the uncle who told the same story every week. The menu was roast beef, mashed potatoes, and the infamous Jell-O mold. The meal wasn't the point, the gathering was. When a neighbor had a baby, the whole street brought food and hand-me-downs. There were no online registries, just friends helping friends. New fathers handed out cigars. Bank hours were strict. If you didn't get there before 3 p.m. On Friday, you had no cash until Monday. No ATMs, no apps. It's just a teller behind glass and the sound of a stamp on your deposit slip. You didn't need a gym membership. Daily chores kept you fit. Mowing the lawn with a push mower, chopping wood, hanging laundry on the line. That was your workout. And somehow, your grandfather was in better shape. Hawaii became the 50th state in 1959. To many Americans, it seemed like a different world. Beaches, volcanoes, hula skirts. Postcards from paradise started appearing in mailboxes. On Sunday mornings, the radio played gospel music. Dad read the newspaper, Mom poured coffee, and the world felt slow in the best possible way. Men wore hats, fedoras, flat caps when leaving the house. It was standard practice, a sign of respect. The hat was part of the social uniform. Men tipped their hats when greeting someone, a fleeting gesture of courtesy. They removed them upon entering a home without a second thought. This was a silent language of respect that has largely faded. If you could relive any day from the 1950s, which would it be? Share your most precious memory in the comments. Telephones were rotary dial, often mounted to the wall. Make a call, you dialed each number carefully. If you messed up the last digit, you started over. Most families had one phone. When it rang, everyone ran because there was no voicemail. On long car trips, no one wore seatbelts. Kids moved freely in the station wagon, windows down, the family dog panting in the breeze. Mom passed sandwiches from the cooler. While less safe, these trips are remembered as moments of freedom and family chaos. The interstate highway system didn't exist yet. It was established in 1956. Before that, road trips were an adventure on state highways. The lack of a unified system required patience and preparation for breakdowns. Travelers relied on large paper maps from oil companies. If you got lost, you stopped and asked a local for directions. Strangers were generally kind and helpful, sometimes drawing maps on napkins. You always carried a spare tire and tools. This trust was remarkably high. School desks still had inkwells, relics from an earlier time. Kids would poke pencils into them, wondering about the days of quill pens. Air travel was a rare formal event. Men wore suits, women wore gloves and hats. Passengers were treated like honored guests, served real meals with silverware, and had ample legroom. No one wore athletic wear or brought strange pets on board. A heavy steel toolbox was a symbol of pride and self-reliance for the man of the house. It was dented and greasy, full of the knowledge to fix anything from a toaster to a lawnmower. It represented a spirit of self-sufficiency. What repair skill did you learn from your father or grandfather? Share the item you were proudest to fix. One of the great fears was polio. During outbreaks, children were kept away from pools and theaters. Summer was a time of both fun and worry, as parents watched their children closely. A major breakthrough was the first successful open-heart surgery using a heart-lung machine in 1953. It sounded like science fiction, stopping a heart, repairing it, and restarting it. This achievement launched modern cardiac surgery. In 1953, Watson and Crick revealed DNA's double helix structure. Most of the public didn't grasp its significance, but it paved the way for modern biology and medicine. The first nuclear power plant switched on in Idaho in 1951. Its output was tiny, lighting just for bulbs. But for Americans, it was the spark of a new atomic age, both thrilling and slightly fearful. The microchip was invented in 1958. Nobody outside labs cared much. People were more impressed by automatic garage doors. But this tiny invention laid the groundwork for every digital device we use today. In 1957, the Soviet Union launched Sputnik, the first satellite. Though only beach ball sized, it sent shockwaves through America, accelerating the space race and making science a priority in classrooms. Before keyboards, work meant typewriters. Mistakes required white correction fluid or starting over. There was no delete button. But the most satisfying sound was the ding, and the carriage returned. Most homes lacked central air conditioning. People used box fans, drank lemonade, or slept on the porch on hot nights. Hardly anyone complained. It was just summer. Fathers said the heat built character, and people believed it. At drive-ins and diners with limited seating, people often ate burgers and fries on their car hoods. It was part of the car culture, enjoying a meal under neon lights. The feeling of a 15-cent burger and 10-cent fries next to your Bel Air was described as perfect. Milk was delivered in thick glass bottles to your doorstep before sunrise. You'd hear the clinking, the sign of a new day. If you were lucky, you got to peel off the paper cap. The bottles were returned and reused, a model of sustainability. The ice cream truck's bell was magical. Kids ran barefoot with coins for bomb pops and drumsticks. No one worried about sugar. It was about the feeling of that first bite with sticky fingers. Canned food was king in the kitchen. Spam, Campbell's soup, and fruit cocktail were staples. With Cold War anxiety, families stocked pantries like bomb shelters. Canned goods meant convenience and preparedness. Every town had a soda fountain, the social hub. Teens met there after school, sitting on red stools for a cherry Coke or grilled cheese. The waitress knew your name, was a place for community and romance, with a jukebox playing. The concept of organic didn't exist. Basic foods like milk and meat came from local farms. You didn't ask if it was natural. It just was. Fresh local food was the default. The first modern credit card, the Diners Club, debuted in 1954. Businessmen to pay for meals without cash. By the late 50s, more people signed up, often missing the fine print. signaling the start of a credit-based society. Youth culture changed when Elvis Presley released That's All Right in 1954. Rock and roll exploded. Teens felt a pure energy. Every hip shake seemed to rewrite social rules. Parents panicked, preachers warned, but teens turned the music up. The Kodak Brownie camera made photography affordable. Family moments were captured in grainy black and white. Since cameras were basic, it was a skill. If your finger wasn't in the frame, it was a good picture. Every photo was a treasure. American Bandstand, hosted by clean-cut Dick Clark, went national in 1957. Teens watched and learned the latest dances in saddle shoes and poodle skirts. The show shaped what was cool nationwide. While teens danced, parents frowned from the doorway. The hula hoop craze hit in 1958. 25 million sold in 4 months. Kids spun them in yards until dizzy. Contests sprang up. Parents tried it secretly after dark, often straining muscles. Most families had one bathroom in pastel pink, mint green or blue. The toilet tub and tiles matched. Sharing one bathroom taught cooperation, and the soft colors felt clean. With one bathroom, bathing multiple kids was a military operation. So the oldest went first, then the middle, then the youngest, often in the same water. This was thriftiness and practicality in action. The beauty parlor was a social hub for gossip. Scent was hairspray and perm solution. With hair and rollers under dryers, women had time to chat and exchange news. It was a private space for connection. Hairstyling was lengthy. Women set hair with metal rollers, then sat under a giant helmet-shaped dryer. This forced stillness, allowing time to read magazines or join gossip. Few modern devices offer the feeling of a wind-up watch. Winding it each morning was a daily ritual. The gentle click-clack was the sound of a new day of physical interaction, far from today's screens. Pogo sticks were everywhere, especially the hop rod, a gas-powered version. Kids spent hours balancing on sidewalks. The click-clack of the spring, the weightlessness, was magic. Scraped knees were part of the fun. Ant farms let kids get close to nature. They watched for hours as ants built tunnels and carried food, tapping the glass to make them move, wondering how they knew their way. It was a captivating way to learn about life and teamwork. Fizzies were instant fun tablets that turned water into a carbonated drink. You dropped one in, watched it fizz, and enjoyed a sweet drink. The process was exciting with many flavors. It was like making your own soda. Before private lines, many families shared a telephone line with neighbors, could pick up and overhear someone's conversation. Getting your own private line was a game changer. No more waiting or interruptions. Children of the 60s saw burns, scratches, and scars as badges of honor. They were proof of adventures and lessons learned. Scar on the knee from falling off a bike, a burn from a toy. It was a life attitude hard to understand today. Movie-going was different. Theaters had 1 or 2 screens. Films rotated weekly. You had to wait for a movie to come to your town. This created anticipation, unlike today's instant access. The 60s saw the banana seat bike, like the Schwinn Stingray with high handlebars. It felt like cruising in style, the coolest bike on the street. Every kid wanted one for racing around the neighborhood. What do you remember most about your childhood? What surprised you? Please comment below. Silly Putty came in a red egg. You could bounce it, stretch it, and copy comic strips from the newspaper. That moment was priceless. But with printed newspapers rare, the toy's popularity isn't the same. Reading an analog clock was essential. Wall clocks and watches had hands and Roman numerals. Understanding their position was a basic skill. Today, many children can't read them because they've never needed to. In the 60s, pregnant women often still smoked and drank. They didn't change habits because the dangers weren't fully understood. Photo albums show pregnant mothers with cigarettes as a normal part of life. Kids walked to school alone, even at 6. No school buses or parent pickups. They carried books by hand, no backpacks. It was a burden to juggle everything. The image of independent children was familiar. Shopping came with rewards, green and blue chip stamps. You collected them in booklets and redeemed them for items from kitchenware to toys. It was a treasure hunt, flipping through catalogs. Opening a soda can meant a metal can opener with a sharp end. You twisted it into the can and pried it open. It took effort, but the first sip tasted sweeter. a skill today's generation doesn't need. Smoking was common everywhere: planes, restaurants, hospitals, ads with glamorous actors, flooded magazines. Cigarette brands were part of identity. Even pregnant women smoked. Huge ashtrays were in every room. The console TV was the living room center. Bulky with wooden frames, it took up a wall. Sound came from built-in speakers. You adjusted rabbit ears for the best picture. No remote, so you got up to change channels. But it was magical, with the whole family gathering. Do you remember the first color TV show you watched? Jetsons on ABC, though only 24 episodes, made kids wonder about the future. Nothing beat a drive-in theater. You parked, tuned your car radio, and watched on a giant screen. Families brought blankets and snacks. Friends relaxed in the back. Sometimes you got 2 movies. It was an event under the stars. Soda fountains were lively counters for cold sodas and milkshakes. People gathered with friends, chatting. Soda jerk mixed drinks quickly. The clinking glasses, conversations, and jukebox tunes made every visit a celebration. Before Google, the World Book Encyclopedia set was our knowledge source. Kids flipped through colorful pages for school or curiosity. It had facts about everything. Owning a set was like having the world at your fingertips. Paper maps were essential for travel. You'd spread them on the car, hood, or kitchen table, tracing your journey with a finger. No zoom or rerouting, just a detailed map. I still keep some in my glove compartment. No worry about signal. When TV stations signed off at night, they played the national anthem. The screen faded to black, and the anthem echoed. Everyone stopped, reflecting as the flag appeared. It was a solemn moment before static until morning. The Easy Bake Oven, released in 1963, let kids bake cookies and cakes. It wasn't just a toy, it taught basic cooking skills, stimulating creativity and independence. A legendary item everyone knew. In 1964, the Beatles debuted on The Ed Sullivan Show, creating Beatlemania. Their mop-top haircuts inspired kids to get similar cuts or buy wigs. Their boots and collarless jackets became fashion. They changed music, fashion, and attitudes. American Bandstand was a must-watch. It introduced new artists and taught trendy dances like the locomotion and the Watusi. It was a window to music and youth culture, where you learned to express yourself through movement. Walking home from school, you could stop at a store with loose change for a big bag of candy. Could order an ice cream soda and sit at the counter like an adult. The feeling of sitting where people gathered with clinking glasses and jukebox music was unforgettable. Have you experienced this? Share your story. Kids learned to earn, count, and spend real money early. It's going to the store alone, handing over change, getting back coins was a lesson in value. Different from today's plastic cards, using cash, feeling coins, calculating purchases was part of growing up. Higher-risk toys were accepted. Science kits with toxic fumes, plastic melting ovens like the Thing Maker. Children learned life had dangers and to be careful. BB guns were common. Unlike today, kids weren't afraid of burns or scars. They were badges of honor. Other toys were challenging. Rock'em, Sock'em robots where you tried to pop the head off. Major Matt Mason action figures often broke at the joints. MMO super balls bounced high. Creepy crawlers let you make rubber insects in a small oven. Photo slides and projectors revisited memories. After a vacation, the living room filled with excitement as the projector clicked. The family gathered in the dark, reminiscing. Sometimes it was long, but it was magical, seeing moments unfold. A family ritual, the 1969 moon landing, was unforgettable. The exhilaration when Neil Armstrong stepped onto the lunar surface, we thought, wow, we're actually doing this. The impossible became real. That small step felt like a giant leap. We all wanted to be astronauts, watching launches on school TVs. It fostered interest in science. Zebra-striped gum, with its colorful wrapper, was a must-have. The flavor didn't last, but we chewed it, blew bubbles, and enjoyed it. Sharing with friends, the bold wrapper made it unique. A&W drive-ups were unique. You parked, and a car hop on roller skates brought your meal on a tray of root beer float or burger. The skates made it fun. It was the whole experience, watching them glide, enjoying food with family. TV dinners were a breakthrough. Swanson packaged them in a foil tray you heated in the oven. They became a freezer staple. The novelty made them popular. Other companies followed. Working mothers favored them. The tray had a dessert section, often scalding. Jell-O could be a whole meal. Moms put everything in it: ham, vegetables, fish. Cookbooks had recipes for molded gelatin. Jell-O even had savory flavors like celery and Italian salad. Imagine a child facing a wobbly plate with hidden meat. If you had to finish dinner, you might be there a while. Westerns were everything to a boy. John Wayne was a star. Shows like Gunsmoke and Bonanza were on TV. Bonanza was the first Western in color. So you found someone with a color TV to watch. Outdoors, you wore a cowboy hat and cap gun. I'm not sure when I last saw a child with a cap gun, but in the 60s, we all did. They popped and smoked, adding realism to shootouts. Your first job paid $1 to $1.50 per hour. It was substantial pocket money, more than returning cans. For teenagers, it taught being a good employee, a clean uniform, punctuality, hard work. Last time I went to McDonald's, the sign said $15 per hour. But employees were in casual clothes, and I waited 20 minutes for the wrong order. How things have changed. Summer meant playing outside all day. No smartphones, video games, or internet. It was for exploration and adventure. Kids went out early and returned at dusk with dirty feet. Baseball, tag, wandering backyards and streets were playgrounds where imagination soared. Family road trips in station wagons were iconic. No seatbelt laws, so you sprawled in the back to color, read, or relax. It felt free and spacious. Station wagons were the common family car for drive-ins or summer travel. Lying down looking at the ceiling, squeezing with siblings unforgettable. Remember Tem? The orange powder turned water into a sweet neon drink. When astronaut John Glenn drank it in orbit in 1962, every child had to have it. Associated with space, it became a must-have, a symbol of pioneering. If Temps was the drink, space food sticks were the food. Chewy, slightly peanut butter-like, they were in lunchboxes, bringing a taste of space to meals. They represented fascination with space achievements. Bomb shelters and duck-and-cover drills were common in the early 60s due to the nuclear threat. President Kennedy suggested building shelters. Children were taught to react to an attack, sheltering under desks. Yeah, how many of these do you recognize? Anything to add? If this moved you, please hit the like button and subscribe to Winds of Thought so we can keep preserving these memories. Share your personal story. Your memories are a living legacy. If you enjoyed this journey through time, please give this video a likey and share your own stories below. And for more glimpses into the past, make sure you subscribe to Winds of Thought.